Hi guys, I figured I might as well just use this channel for something since I've had it for so long and I've not really done anything particularly exciting with it at this point. But I've always really liked list videos, and so I figured maybe I would try starting with one of those. So I decided that I was going to do a list video based on my favorite power pop bands that didn't get as famous as I wish they would have. All of the bands in this list are actually bands that have broken up, and I was really disappointed to hear about each and every single one of them. So I figured I would give some of them some attention, even though now they're not really together. I still think that they earn some sort of respect, even though they're gone now. Pardon the jump cuts and kind of, wonky editing on this. This is the first time I've ever done this, and I'm using just the YouTube editor, so I'm not really sure how well it's going to work. Hopefully it'll work out really well, and I'll be able to do more of these in the future, but definitely let me know what you think. To start things off is a band called Conditions. I saw them in 2011 at AP Tour. They actually had 3 albums, but unfortunately I only have one. However, I did get to meet them. They're really nice people, and I did end up getting their autographs at the show. I have to say they're probably a little bit closer to post-hardcore, but I really, really enjoyed them, and I'm obviously disappointed that they ended up going away. They really put out some fantastic music, and if they ended up putting out more in the future, perhaps I would be very excited to see it. This next band is actually a band that has an artist that I really, really appreciate, so you can't see it very well in the video. But the band is called Cinematic Sunrise, and it's one of the products of Craig Owens, who's done some very fantastic things I like. I really enjoyed his work in Destroy, Rebuild, Until God Shows. I enjoy some of Isles and Glaciers, and I really enjoy some of the Sound of Animals Fighting. It's not my favorite, but I do appreciate it, and I'm not a huge fan of Chiodos, but I do enjoy some of his work even in that. I have to say that I really was happy with this because it's more of a power pop sound, which is a sound that I really appreciate. And so when this particular band came into my view, I was really excited, and I really appreciated some of the music. So if you have any interest at all, you should definitely check this band out. Kind of cheating with number 8 because these bands are both technically different bands, but one of the artists is the same in both of them. The bands are called Holiday Parade and Bonaventure, and Andy Albert has actually done work on both of them. I really appreciate both sound. It's kind of a country feel to it, but it's mostly still power pop. I really love their sounds. And I only really have one of their albums physically. I have digital copies of several of the others that I've gotten on iTunes. But I really would love to hear anything more that he puts out, and if either of the bands got back together, I'd be really excited about that too. Let's Get It is a disappointingly short-lived band. They only really released, I think, 1 EP and 1 full album, but they did a really different kind of sound compared to any of the other power pop bands that I've heard. It's a little bit more electronically influenced, but it's not like to the extreme. It's not electro pop. It's got its own kind of sound, really. There's not much else to explain. I really appreciated the singer's voice. I really appreciated the band's sound. I appreciate everything about it, and the only thing I have is their EP. I've never been able to get their album yet. I've considered trying to buy it, but I just haven't really gotten around to it. I would love to hear more from them, but unfortunately that probably won't happen. One of the members of the band is actually now in another band called Danger Kids, which they also have a phenomenal sound. If you at all appreciate early Linkin Park, you'll probably like that music as well. So if you ever get a chance to listen to that, you might try that as well. They're really good, so give them a listen. On the polar opposite end of the spectrum as far as album releases go is a band called There for Tomorrow. They actually released several different albums, a couple of EPs, and they really put out a great but kind of different sound. They often toured with a band called Versa Emerge, which is now called Versa. That band actually changed their style. I wouldn't consider them for this list simply because they're still technically a band, but they've split. Digression aside, I have to say, though, that There for Tomorrow put out a lot of great music, and they actually were together for a long time. I believe they started when they were in junior high, and if you actually listen to their earliest release stuff, which is now out on iTunes, you can definitely hear the difference in Micah's voice because he's a lot younger. There's really some great sound to it, and if you ever get a chance to check them out, definitely do it. There's plenty of stuff out there. Again, on the side with more albums released is a band called Kids in Glass Houses. I was never fortunate enough to meet this band. I did, however, spring to buy their album autograph because I really was turned on by their sound, especially in their final album. You can really hear an evolution over the time that they had music. They actually put out several different albums, and they're all really good, but I really like their later stuff. It has more of what I would consider a mature sound compared to their earlier stuff. But even some of their earlier works are really, really good. Like, I really like songs like Heartbreaker and Fisticuffs from earlier music. But when it comes to their final stuff, especially stuff like Nightcrawler, or Storm Chaser. They're both really phenomenal songs, and even the whole of the final album is very, very good. I'm really disappointed to find out that they broke up. I found out literally like a week after I heard any of their newest stuff, which was a real letdown. But that said, they did put out a lot of great music, and you can still find all of it, and it's still phenomenal. So if you ever get a chance, definitely give them a listen. Again, on the side with smaller releases is a band called The Mile After. Unfortunately, as far as I know, they only ever put out one release, and that is this album, Armada. That said, though, Chase has moved on to other things. The other band members, to my knowledge, haven't done anything musically since, but I really did enjoy the music while it lasted, and you can still enjoy some of Chase's stuff here on YouTube. He puts out music every once in a while, and if you have a chance to listen to any of it, definitely check it out because it's some really good stuff. Unfortunately for this band, Boxer and Clover, I don't have anything other than a few MP3s. It's a little bit hard to find things about them because Boxer and Clover are the names of characters in Animal Farm, which I'm sure is where they got their name. They really put out some phenomenal music, and I would love to hear more of their stuff, but it's kind of hard to find. I don't own any physical copies, as I said, which kind of limits my ability to experience stuff anywhere other than if I put it on an MP3 player. It really, though, was some great things, and I'd love to have heard more stuff, and if anyone knows anything about what's happened to the band since, I would love to hear because I really enjoyed their music. Go Radio was not Jason Lancaster's first project, and it definitely wasn't his last. I have several albums by them, and I really appreciated their music, but unfortunately they split ways. That said, Alex still does stuff with a band called Stages and Stereos, which Jason Lancaster's younger brother is in. They also have fantastic music, but they are still together, so they are not on this list. Since then, Jason has also gone to other things, making a solo album that he funded on Indiegogo. I don't know anything about what Steve and Matt have done since then, but it was a phenomenal band, and I really enjoyed their sound. I was sad to hear them go, but I still hope that in the future they all release fantastic music again. Anyone who knows me knows exactly what my number one band was going to be. It's the JV AllStars. I'm the biggest fan of this band. I actually went to Lincoln, Nebraska to see them for their show for their 9th anniversary concert, and it was, as far as I know, the last concert that they have ever done and ever will do. Since then, they've decided that they're going to do a 6-track EP to raise money for their friend's band, because their friend's band's van was stolen, and so they released a 6-track EP raising money for them, which I thought was really awesome, but they never declared themselves as back together yet. So, I don't know if they'll ever come back, but I really appreciated their music, and they were together for quite a while. However, it was never enough for me. I loved every single track that they ever did, and I would love to hear more. I can't wait for the new music. That said, though, sometimes you just have to move on, and again, I really hope them all the best. I've been friends with a couple of the members of the band, and I'm happy to hear that they're doing alright, and I'm so excited about this new stuff, but if they moved on, they moved on. It's too bad, but they put out some great music while they were together. Definitely check it out if you get a chance. So that's 10 bands that I'd really like you to check out. Feel free to introduce me to any bands that you like, that you would like me to hear about. They don't have to be bands that have broken up, and they don't have to be power pop, even though power pop is my favorite genre. I'm open to a wide range of different types of music. Definitely let me know your thoughts. I know there's some stumbles and fumbles in this particular video. It's my first time doing this, and I don't have any real editing equipment, so I'm doing everything in YouTube itself. If you appreciate it, give it a like and let me know what you think. I would absolutely love to hear from you, and I would absolutely love to hear any music that you would like me to hear.